Why we kiss. You are standing at the end of a long driveway. The date went well. The air is cool. You look at the person standing in front of you. The conversation lulls. You step closer. You tilt your head. They tilt theirs. You press your mouth against their mouth. For the next 10 seconds, you will swap approximately 80 million bacteria. You will exchange saliva, mucus, and genetic fragments. You will press two of the most sensitive, nerve-dense regions of your physical body together, completely exposing your airway to a person you met 3 hours ago. If an alien biologist were hovering in a cloaked ship above your neighborhood, watching this interaction through a telescope, they would be absolutely horrified. They would assume you were trying to consume each other, or perhaps engaging in some kind of bizarre, unsanitary biological warfare. But you don't feel horrified. You feel a rush of euphoria. You call it romance. You call it a spark. You tell your friends that the kiss was magic, but it is not magic. It is a biological audit. Most of us treat kissing as an invention of poetry. We view it as the ultimate expression of human affection, a civilized, romantic gesture that elevates us above the animals. We write songs about it. We build massive Hollywood cinematic moments around it. But you are not executing a romantic gesture. You are executing an ancient, invasive, and highly sophisticated chemical assay. Kissing is not a product of culture. It is a high-speed data transfer. And to understand why your brain compels you to lock lips with a stranger, we have to strip away the romance and look at the brutal, fascinating machinery operating under the hood. Chapter 1. The Alien Anatomy. To understand the kiss, you first have to understand the lips. Human lips are an anatomical anomaly. We are the only creatures on Earth whose lips are permanently averted, meaning the mucous membrane, the sensitive inner lining of the mouth, is permanently rolled outward and exposed to the air. Your lips are packed with a disproportionate number of nerve endings. The somatosensory cortex, the part of your brain that processes physical touch, dedicates a massive amount of real estate purely to the lips. They are 100 times more sensitive than the tips of your fingers. When you press your lips against someone else's, you are not just touching them, you are plugging a highly sensitive biological sensor directly into their mainframe. But why? If the goal of evolution is survival and reproduction, pressing mouths together seems like a massive, unnecessary risk. It is a fantastic way to transmit pathogens, viruses, and parasites. From a strictly survivalist perspective, getting that close to another primate's respiratory system is a terrible idea. For a long time, anthropologists were divided. Is kissing a learned cultural behavior, or is it a biological imperative? The data is revealing. While romantic kissing on the lips is not present in every single human culture, some estimates suggest it is practiced by roughly 90% of societies. The underlying desire for close proximity facial nuzzling, sniffing, and licking is practically universal across mammals. We didn't invent the kiss, we just weaponized it. Chapter 2. The Paleolithic Pacifier. To trace the origin of the kiss, we have to go back, way back. Imagine you are an early human mother living on the African savanna 300,000 years ago. You have an infant. This infant, like all human babies, is born completely helpless. They have no teeth. Their digestive system is weak. There are no blenders. There is no store-bought baby food. How do you transition this child from breast milk to the tough roots, nuts, and raw meats of the Paleolithic diet? You do what birds, wolves, and early primates have done for millions of years. You practice pre-mastication. You chew the food yourself. You break it down with your own teeth, mixing it with your own saliva, which contains enzymes that begin the digestive process. And then, you press your lips against your baby's lips, and you transfer the food directly into their mouth. For 99.9% of human history, this was how children survived. Because of this, the human brain began to wire a profound psychological association. The feeling of lip-to-lip pressure became neurologically linked with nourishment, safety, and maternal love. Evolution took the physical act of feeding and saturated it with reward chemicals. When lips met, the brain released oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and dopamine. It was a chemical reward to ensure mothers kept feeding their babies, and babies felt safe and secure.
This was the first kiss. It wasn't romantic. It was a Paleolithic pacifier. It was a mechanism of survival. But evolution is the ultimate recycler. Millions of years later, when humans needed a way to form intense, high-stakes bonds with mates, the brain didn't invent a new system. It simply hijacked the old one. It took the neurological circuitry of maternal trust and repurposed it for reproductive selection. Chapter 3. The Chemical Laboratory. This explains why kissing feels comforting, but it does not explain why we use it to select our partners. It doesn't explain why a bad kiss can instantly kill your attraction to someone who looks perfect on paper. To understand that, we have to look at the invisible world of the face. Your face, specifically the area around your nose, cheeks, and mouth, is covered in sebaceous glands. These glands excrete a cocktail of chemicals, pheromones, and oils. Your breath carries biological data about your diet, your health, and your internal biology. When you lean in for a kiss, you are not just getting close to their lips. You are placing your nose directly into their chemical exhaust cloud. You are stepping into the laboratory. While your conscious mind is thinking about the lighting, the mood, and the romance, your subconscious brain is running a highly complex genetic audit. The most critical thing your brain is searching for is called the Major Histocompatibility Complex, or MHC. MHC is a set of genes that control your immune system. They dictate which diseases you can fight off and which ones will kill you. Here is the brilliant, ruthless logic of evolution. If you are going to have a child with someone, you want them to have an immune system that is completely different from yours. If your immune systems are too similar, your child will have the exact same vulnerabilities as you. But if you combine two vastly different MHC profiles, your child inherits a diverse, robust immune system. They become a biological fortress. But how do you know what someone's immune system looks like? You can't see it. You can't ask them. You have to smell it. You have to taste it. In a landmark biological study known as the sweaty t-shirt experiment, researchers proved that humans, particularly women, are powerfully attracted to the scent of individuals whose MHC genes are entirely different from their own. When women smelled the shirts of men with opposite immune systems, they found the scent alluring. When they smelled the shirts of men with similar immune systems, they found it repulsive. It smelled like a brother. This is the true purpose of the romantic kiss. It is a biological vetting mechanism. When you lock lips, you are tasting their genetic code. Your brain is rapidly calculating whether your immune systems are a profitable match for potential offspring. If the MHC profiles clash, or if the saliva carried chemical markers of illness or poor health, your brain pulls the emergency brake. The dopamine shuts off, the oxytocin drops. You pull away from the kiss and you consciously think, we just didn't have any chemistry. You are using a metaphor, but your brain is being literal. The chemistry was wrong. The audit failed. Chapter 4. The Pathogen Paradox. But what about the bacteria? If kissing is meant to protect our future children, why does the act itself involve trading 80 million bacteria? Once again, evolution is playing a game of four-dimensional chess. In the ancient world, if you were going to bond with a partner, you were going to share a localized environment. You would sleep in the same cave. You would eat the same food. You would face the same environmental threats. By aggressively exchanging saliva, early humans were essentially inoculating each other. Kissing introduces small, manageable doses of your partner's localized bacteria into your system. It forces your immune system to update its defenses. It is a natural low-grade vaccination program. Evolution calculated that the risk of catching a cold was vastly outweighed by the benefit of synchronizing your immune system with the person you rely on for survival. You share the germs so you can share the immunity. You build a microscopic tribe. Chapter 5. The Modern Illusion. And here we are today. We sit in candlelit restaurants. We watch romantic comedies where two people run toward each other in the rain, music swelling, entirely driven by the narrative of destiny and soulmates. We dress the kiss in layers of culture, poetry, and mystique. We use it to sell perfume, movies, and lifestyle brands. We have convinced ourselves that pressing our mouths together is an act of pure, abstract romance. We ignore the ancient software running quietly in the background. But the next time you lean in, the next time you feel your heart rate spike and the world narrow down to a single point of contact, remember what is actually happening. You are a highly evolved primate running a 300,000-year-old diagnostic test. You are searching for the echoes of maternal safety, sniffing out histocompatibility genes, and trading localized pathogens to build a biological fortress for a future that your conscious mind isn't even thinking about yet. You are not performing magic. You are performing biology. And in a strange way, that is infinitely more profound than any romance novel ever written. We trade the friction of logic for the comfort of chemistry, trusting our most vulnerable, ancient sensors to make the most important decisions of our lives. The real question isn't why we kiss. The question is, how many other choices in your modern life are being secretly orchestrated by a blind, ancient primate just trying to survive the night?